fuck are you doing with a fucking hammer in your Kennedy? Like, you never put hammer. A hammer is something you put in some Home Depot bullshit toolbox. You don't put a hammer in your Kennedy. So I'll design a system and before it gets into the more advanced programming and all the debugging, I got to figure out if it works. I have to figure out if the geometry is right and the mechanics are going to be okay. And so, you know, I'll just develop some really quick, kind of crude things that enable us to kind of run this through its paces. And the beauty of this kind of analog approach to testing is you can kind of see it's pretty aggressive, and you can stop it and start it and change directions. And when we get into programming and the finished product, you can't do those things. The computer doesn't like it when you change polarity and kind of change forces and torque readings. So. Working on cars, and then going to school for architecture, and then I ended up building my parents' house right out of school, and that was horrible. So then I said, I just kind of gave up on architecture. Fuck that. This is tough. Tough to work for your parents right out of the gate. It kind of spoils the soup a little bit. So I just reduced the scope, and still really was interested in the architectural vernacular, but I was also really just pretty good at the mechanics and the engineering of it. Just kind of came natural. So it just grew. It was really, really super natural. This was when I was in my kind of Brancusi stage, you know? So it's the end of the world of bacon. And you have like two David Smith kind of esque figures, and the eggs, obviously, Brancusi, and it's on the plane, kind of, you know. I love this thing. I'm never, ever going to sell it. And this is one of those pieces, and I don't think any of my friends really like it. I don't think, you know, anybody really thinks it's worth me keeping. I could have sold it a couple times, and, you know, once in a while you get those pieces that you're just like, oh, you know. Not that I want to be buried with this in my Ben-shaped coffin, but, you know, I like that. I like this one, you know. I like that and a couple other pieces I have, and it still makes me happy. Look at him smiling. Lifestyle. I'm a runaway son of the nuclear A-band. I am the world's the kinetics, you know, they're just kind of, for me, they're simple, and I'm not really that interested in making things move. I'm more interested in kind of developing a language with this movement, or developing a language with information being exposed and hidden and revealed and distributed spatially. So a lot of these things are historically they're it's kind of oldie-timey. It's kind of folklorish. You know, there's a narrative, say, in a lot of this kinetic work, where you kind of get a sense of place and time and situation, like the bacon and eggs. You know, it's designed, I guess, lack of a better word, it's designed to kind of evoke an emotion of solitude or companionship or whatever you get out of it. But I'm definitely not interested in focusing all of my energy on making this thing move and trying to tell a story. And the chandeliers are going in that direction for sure. It's more a matter of being comfortable with the mechanics, and I'm not saying mechanics is in the nuts and bolts, but you know, the mechanics of or the architecture of the book itself, as it opens, as it closes, as you interact with the book, and you know, the tactile experience you have with a perceived scenario or emotion, that is interesting to me. So opening the book is just a matter of, or it's just as much part of the experience as the story itself, from my perspective, when I'm trying to develop a narrative, when I'm trying to develop a system that reveals the narrative via mechanics. So yeah, hopefully, you know, I'll be able to say something with this. And I would have to drive all the way to Northridge and fucking way the hell out there just to find some freak with a bowling ball. And 9 times out of 10, it was like a marble ball that weighed 4 pounds, and it was some freak that had, it was just freak show. People that answer that ad.
Yeah, it can
You know, it's all about answering the door in a terry cloth robe, you know?